Hello and welcome to Weavy Office Hours, the second episode, where we're here to answer your questions about Weavy, as well as run you through tutorials on how to get started with Weavy, and discuss the important things like, should our clocks have a second counter on it? I vote no, but a lot of people disagree. Here to join me on this important debate are our onboarding engineers, Dave and Mai. Hey guys.
Hey, Andy.
So,
Hello.
pressing question of the day. Do you like having seconds on your clock, yes or no?
Not on my own personal clock. I feel like that's just too stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the clock I have been, paying attention to most these days, my biological clock is, I'm getting less flexible day by day. But yeah, I think seconds would stress me out a bit. I think I'm with Maya on this one.
Sure.
But as like a
Sec
countdown for the show,
yeah.
that'd be pretty cool.
It's
Yeah,
exciting.
that's what got me started on it, was going like at 10 I've got to roll over to the intro video, and not realizing like where am I in the course of this minute? Follow-up question, when you're setting clocks on appliances, do you wait to set it until the time rolls over, or do you just like go like it's fine?
I don't set time on appliances. I don't
I'm
do
a
that.
wait. I look at the your phone or whatever watch. I'm like, okay, it just changed now. Set it.
Yes, that I'm not going to say that's the correct answer, but it is. Great. Thank you so much for answering these questions, and we're done. Uh, oh, right, we're going to talk about Weavy. Great. So today is all about getting started with Weavy and React. Do you guys want to sort of walk me through, just educate me? What's React? I know the answer, but um, for those of us people who are tuning in and really want to really get started.
Yeah,
Sure.
React. Oh, yeah, React is just one of the most popular frameworks at the moment. So we decided that we needed a tutorial to help people set up chat in React.
There we go. Thank you. Dave, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I think uh, that pretty much sums it up. I think the world is definitely shifting to single page applications. If they're not, like, websites aren't in this by now, I mean, I think most of them are, but yeah, and Weavy works a little differently with these components. So there's just a few features you need to tie in. So having this demonstrated in this tutorial, which Mai goes through, is really awesome and can help you get started really quickly with Weavy in React.
Gotcha. Um, so, Mai, is there anything we need to know about this tutorial? Are there any steps that people following along would have to take before they begin the tutorial?
Yeah, so this tutorial just goes through setting up the Weavy Chat in a React application. It doesn't go through setting up the server SDK. So if you haven't done that already, do that first. And setting up the server SDK is the same for any framework. We went through that last week in our office hours, so we have a video on that in on our channel. We also have the documentation on our doc site as well. So.
Great. All right. Well, with that, we're going to throw over to your tutorial, and then we'll be standing by to answer questions.
In this video, I will guide you through integrating Weavy Chat into a basic React web app. If you haven't already, be sure to follow the guide on setting up the Weavy Server SDK. And a few other prerequisites to note is you will be needing React version 16.8 or higher and Weavy version 8.2 or higher. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, let's get started. Open your Git for Windows. Navigate to where you'd like to create your application. In this video, we are going to create a new React app using npx, but you can also integrate Weavy into an existing app if you'd like. Once the application is created, open it in Visual Studio Code. First, we're going to add the Weavy script. Navigate to public index.html. Copy the script tags from the tutorial and place it in the head section. Replace your server domain with the domain name of your own Weavy server. For me, that's going to be localhost 44323. Next, we are going to create a shared Weavy context. In your source folder, create another folder named Weavy. And in that folder, create a file called weavycontext.js. This is going to hold the shared context. Next, create a file in your Weavy folder named weavy.js. This is going to hold your Weavy instance. Paste the code from the tutorial. Now we are going to create the Weavy Chat component. First, we defined the Weavy space, and then we defined the Weavy Chat app. The Weavy instance will be referenced from the consumed context. The space and chat app are defined from component properties. Lastly, we render a div to hold our Weavy Chat application with the class name Weavy Container. Next, we are going to create a style sheet to style our container. Weavy apps will automatically size themselves to the container, so we need to set a height parameter on our Weavy container, or else it will be a height of 0. The Weavy instance component is only used as a wrapper. You can put it anywhere in your app. The important thing is to place the Weavy Chat component anywhere inside the wrapper. Import the components in your app.js. And now you can use the components. And don't forget to place your JWT token here. To start your application, open a terminal window. Run the command yarn start. This will build and launch the dev server, usually on localhost 3000. Congratulations! Now you have a working chat app in your React application.
Great, and we're back. Thank you for the tutorial, Mai. I thought it would be an interesting idea to give a little bit of background on what React is. React, which its official name is React.js because it's a JavaScript library, was initially developed over at Facebook. It is the technology that underpins the newsfeed and was later ported over to Instagram. So, thank React for your doom scrolling. Just a fun fact that the guy who created it, Jordan Walk, only recently left Facebook to start his own little venture. Best of luck, Jordan. Dave, what are some of the benefits of building your app in React?
Yeah, so kind of as I touched on earlier, React's a single page application, and what that's like is the way it works. You're on the page, and you click on a different part of the website. It only loads what it needs to load, so you have a great user experience. You don't have a complete white flash, and the website doesn't load all over again. And of course, it's efficient for loading data in the browser. So for even just the server costs and stuff like that. So building your application with a single page application is amazing. And there's a lot of those, like Vue.js and I'm trying to think of others at the moment, but right now I'm blanking. Maybe it's because I'm on the air. Yeah, thank you, Mike. And you can see that benefit when you're experiencing one of these applications. So beyond that experience, it's a very well supported framework, and it's not seemingly going away anytime soon, or nothing's really up and coming. It's probably the leading framework for development these days. Super popular, so lots of libraries that integrate well with it to make application building even easier, just like Weavy makes building chat even easier. It just works. It's really nice.
And to be clear, React is a front-end library, right? It requires something to support on the back end.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, great. Yeah, that's actually one of the things. I don't come from a tech background, but one of the things that I know is really important to our community is, documentation is great, and documentation theoretically should get you most of the way, but when you're in it, sometimes your best ally for solving a problem is someone else in the community. And it sounds like they've got a pretty robust community you can lean on.
Yeah, definitely.
If you've got those front end issues.
Definitely. Yeah, so it was a great tutorial, Mike. I appreciate you going through it and giving all these examples. And so just to be clear, it seems like this component is like really easy to drop in and easy to pull up. And how does it like know what users logged in? I think I might have missed that in the video. Like, how does Weavy know what users logged in?
Yeah, it's based on the JWT token. You can set that up I think in the previous tutorial we talked about that, but you can set up the JWT token with those properties, and that's how Weavy knows who's logged in.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And then the users it just kind of works. It seems like they just go in and create conversations and talk to folks within the application. What if you don't want someone to talk to somebody else? Like, what if you want to have like any kind of separation for user communication? Like, how do you go about that? Is Weavy capable of doing things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Weavy works on two levels for user permissions. The higher level is directories. Within a directory, you've got your applications, you've got your spaces and your users. And within the second level of separation is the spaces. Within those spaces, you have your applications and your users. So a user exists in one directory and one directory only, but a directory can have multiple users, unlimited amount of users. And any users within the directory are able to communicate to each other. And any users within a space can also speak to each other. So if you wanted to speak to a user in a different directory, in that directory, you could create a space and invite those two users into that space, and then they would be able to communicate, even though they are in two separate directories. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Like
So
two levels.
the directory is more on the back end level, and the spaces is more front end accessible. Am I understanding that correctly?
I guess you could say that.
I could say that and be wrong,
Yeah.
or I could say that and be right.
Yeah, the
They,
spaces live in the like. There's a separation in the back end for that. I mean, the spaces and it get rendered on the front end for sure, but the permissions and things we're discussing all get handled in the back end.
yeah, they both exist on the back end, but you can render a space and show that on the front end, as Dave said.
Yeah.
Sure. So, for example, we obviously use Weavy as our primary collaboration tool at Weavy. And so we have several spaces set up. We've got our marketing space, our sales space, our company wide. We have our after hours space for off topic stuff and, little celebrations and coordinating meetups when we're able to meet up. Um, and so, that me not being on the development side of things, that is my primary sort of way I interact with Weavy is having those spaces and yeah, witnessing firsthand we'll set up per project spaces like when we sponsored Microsoft Build earlier this year, we had that and there were a few folks in the dev team who were collaborating to help us provide tutorial videos. So, we didn't want to spam everybody with all of the messages in that space. So it really was people who are producing the videos and then the people who have to be hands-on at build and everybody else didn't have to be bothered. So that's sort of, as a usage metaphor, that's what I tend to experience when it comes to Weavy and spaces.
Yeah, the separation
Yeah,
is really
so
nice because you only get notified for the things where you're like in that space.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. It's like nice to have that ability to separate and have people uh only communicate with certain people, only hear about certain things.
yeah. Well, I'm trying to. We haven't had any questions from the chat today, um, but as always, you got questions, you can reach out to any of us. We're not hard to find. Our emails are our names at weavy.com. Um, so super easy to remember. I'm Andy, that's Dave, and that's Mai. So, got any questions or anything you want to see throughout the week, don't hesitate to reach out. And we'll be back next week. Mai, do you have a preview of what we might be covering for next week?
We might be doing we might be doing chat for
All right.
Angular,
Woohoo.
another framework.
I like the idea of that. I think we'll go with that
There we go.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the only way to find out is to tune in next week and find out if we are good to our word or if we'll do something completely different.
We should have cut like right before, like, yeah, we're gonna do tune in next week. You can have cliffhangers. We need to keep people watching. Play next episode comes
Yeah,
up
you're
in the
right.
bottom.
See, and this is why you're such a crucial component of the team. You have these incredible ideas to keep people coming back. And now a word from our sponsor,
LaCroix.
which LaCroix. Um,
When you want to drink water, but you don't want to know you're drinking water.
Yeah, a fine Midwestern brand, LaCroix. They sell it in stores. I think that's their motto. All right, thank you all for joining us for Office Hours, this second of all episodes. Join us next week at same Weavy time, same Weavy channel. I'm Andy. Thank you for joining me, Mai and Dave. Always a pleasure. And for everyone out there, have a great morning, a great evening, and any time in between.